Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thanks for coming in after such a great party last night. I'm here to talk actually about some things that happen in this industry, also talk about our company, but basically this amazing growth and amazing technology that has been created over the past 7 years probably, but also with the big problems it kind of brought to the publisher side. And I think that from there we can go on and kind of see where the future is and where we envision or where we are planning to lead the way. So if you look at the programmatic space, so obviously it has been tremendous growth over the past few years. Programmatic, for people who are not aware, is basically the ability of publishers to sell their inventory or their ad slots in real time through machines, through servers, to many, many advertisers across exchanges. So very much like the stock market, publishers are selling their inventory, which they don't sell direct out there to the market, and advertisers are bidding on those impressions, on those ad impressions. One big exchange to note is, of course, Google AdX, but there are many others that are out there in display and mobile and video, and we'll touch that in a second. So as you see, I mean, this year alone, it's over $20 billion of inventory. And the big secret in the room is actually that publishers don't sell most of their inventory direct. There are very few publishers, maybe the Wall Street Journal and the top-tier publishers of the world, that actually sell the majority of their, or all of their impressions to agencies and the direct deals. 99% of the internet, and we'll show you the numbers, are actually in kind of a limbo situation. On one hand, they sell some of their inventory. Some of it actually goes to those exchanges. And that's kind of created this growth numbers. And it's just going to grow over the years. But there's a big problem. While vast amount of money and technologies has been created on the buy side, so advertisers now are able to buy impressions or users in very sophisticated technologies through retargeting and geo-targeting, a lot of other mechanisms with precise capabilities through trading desks or companies like Criteo or others. The publishers have not done much. Basically, a publisher today takes all of his remnant inventory, tries to optimize it manually, and throws it to an exchange or two exchanges, and hopes for the best, hopes that advertisers will bid up. The problem is on the other side, and everyone who kind of has been on the other side knows that there's a job. People on the trading desks are buying those impressions. Their job is actually to buy those impressions at the lowest price possible. And there's this huge imbalance. Every publisher out there in the market sees that their remnant inventory, the inventory that is not sold direct, is actually going down. The prices are going down. You see people selling $2, $2, boom, 70 cents. And that kind of create across the board, across the exchanges. Basically, if you look at it, on advertising, they buy at the impression level. Publishers sell at bulk. And that creates an amazing opportunity, but also a big problem for the publishers. So we looked at this problem, and we basically created a reverse engineering system. We actually sit on top of all the ecosystem and learn what we call the RTB lines, the real-time bidding lines. So we see how advertisers are bidding differently on each exchange. We see that Coke, through a DSP, let's say Turn, is bidding on Google AdX for this impression at $1.50 on this exchange, but on a different platform, on the NASDAQ versus the London Stock Exchange, they're willing to pay $2 for that impression. So since we're connected to all of the ecosystem, we basically, with our machine learning, are listening to all these communication lines and then route the publisher impressions to the highest bidding platform in real time. So it sounds complicated, but let me try to take it to a very simple situation where we all know from the consumer market, Kayak. So Kayak is an Uber exchange. It's sitting on top of all the hotels and flight exchanges, and it's able basically to go and find the best deals for you across the exchanges. Of course, we're not in consumer, we're in the business sector, but if you look as a whole, basically that's what we do. We understand the landscape really well. We have pipes into those platforms, and instead of building an SSP or another platform, which there are a lot of and very successful ones, we basically build a publisher router, a technology layer that's sitting between the publisher and the exchange and the SSP, and we know how to route those impressions across the board for our publishers. Just to get you through the flow, so there's a publisher request coming in, plugged into our Komoona tag, which is just a tag in the ad server or in DFP or any other ad server. The publisher sets the floor price. The floor price is dynamic. It's self-serve. You can say it's $1 or $4 or 40 cents. It depends on the publisher. Our basically connections, we have a machine learning-based prediction system that already knows for this type of data, for this type of impression, what happens, and we know how to route those impressions directly into the platform. So if we look at all the landscape, we see that there's down to 94 cents that he would sell it if he would go to an unnamed SSP by relationship or otherwise. But actually, there is someone else on the other side of the world willing to pay $2.50 or 2.4. We route that impression on the behalf of the publisher to that impression. I don't want to get too much into the technology, but just a slide. There are basically many dimensions to the problem. And our technology knows how to take the best route at the impression level to the publisher. So there's a dimension of length of time, of users, of many aspects around it. And we basically help to route that impression with the best routing technology in real time for our publisher's benefit. As I mentioned, I think the biggest reason for this is that buyers are buying differently on each exchange. It has to do with the competition that has to do in that exact moment. So imagine I'm a buyer, I'm willing to pay $2 for an impression, but hey, I found it for $1.20 in exchange. I'm going to buy it for $1.20. I'm not paying $2. But if you send it to another platform that is more busy now and there are more advertisers right there now, you can get $2 and clear $2. So think about this as a publishing router. All of our clients are the biggest and main known, including Google, SSPs and exchanges. And we're growing our business very fast towards those capabilities. The results for us has been phenomenal. It's obviously one of the big data problems. The more data you have, the better machine learn on how to build the technology. And the bumps in the road that you see going up and down is because of the way that technology, very much like a hedge fund, works. So you have a strategy that you try out, and the strategy, certain amount of the traffic goes to that strategy. The strategy teaches the master on their relationships, and we can talk about the machine learning capabilities there, but the whole idea is that everything is automatic. We change floor prices thousands of times a day, our machines, into those platforms through our technology to do that. This is another very important pillar of our company. So we believe in the full transparency for publishers. The fact that a publisher sees an impression and basically that's what he's get, we actually think it's wrong. I think publishers have to have all the capabilities that advertisers have today. So we built a prediction system in which every publisher gets this UI. He says, our publisher in this case, his floor price was at 45 cents, and that's where he's running, and he's making $1,200 for this specific tag. We're telling him, here are the options for you. If you lower the price to 25 cents, you'll make more money, but you only will sell 56%, but you'll sell 56% of your impressions, and so on and so on. So we give full transparency. With one click of a button, the publisher changes all of his strategy across all the exchanges through our machines. It doesn't have to go to optimize and everything around it. We're connected to it. We do all the piping work. And that tool has been launched a couple of months ago and received vast majority of usage across the publisher landscape. I think one of the key things for us is because we're not a platform, an SSP or exchange ourselves, but rather a technology platform, we don't have advertising relationships. Our clients are the SSPs and exchanges. We were able to move very quickly from vertical to vertical. So it's a mathematical machine learning problem. It's not a media problem in that sense. So we started with display 4 years ago. Last year, we started mobile. 50% of our business is mobile already, as well as in video, which we're growing very fast now. So once you know the dimensions of this problem and you understand how to work with those platforms and how to predict the best way, that basically goes through it. And the vision really of the company is to be the center of the publisher side across mobile, across data, across video, and across other verticals which we're going after. We manage all the technology, all the hassle, all the optimization between the platforms, and publishers self-serve automatically set their floor price without being too involved in it. Just a very short thing about the company. So the company is based out of Tel Aviv, mostly engineers doing machine learning and prediction analysis. We have over 1,000 clients worldwide, mostly US and Europe. We're growing really fast, processed over 20 billion impressions this past month and have been profitable for the past few years. Thank you very much.